to be here. Thank you, Trescon, for putting this together. So I'm Ramprakash. I've been leading the AI research for Zoho Corp and ManageEngine over the last 11 years. So today, I'm going to give you very actionable insights on getting AI into your IT, because AI has always been about self-driving cars, cancer cures, and ChatGPT replacing jobs. So I'm not going to talk about ChatGPT today. I'm going to talk about, getting the fear of missing out in AI and how to get started with AI into your everyday IT processes. So we are ManageEngine. We are a division of Zoho Corp, and we specialize in enterprise IT management. We have a bunch of IT tools. I mean, you can talk more about it to my colleagues outside. We have a booth. And we are one of earliest made in India, make in India success stories. 85% of our workforce is based in India, and all of our research and development is based in India. And post the COVID pandemic, we have set up hub offices and spoke offices, the idea of transnational localism, which essentially means stopping mass talent migration from rural areas to cities, and thereby overcrowding cities and underpopulating the villages. So we have set up more than 30 plus hubs across India, predominantly in South India, but we are starting to move towards the north as well. Our UP office is coming very soon. So the idea is to keep talent rooted at the local level and build high-paying jobs out of these smaller towns and villages. So this is our global presence. We have been in the industry. We recently celebrated our 20-year anniversary. We have data centers across the globe to comply with all local privacy regulations. In India, we have data centers in Chennai and Mumbai. So this is our offerings. All of these offerings are available on-prem or self-hosted or hosted by ManageEngine. So again, I'm not going to talk in depth. Please feel free to drop by our booth. We can walk you through all this. Right, so now getting into IT, getting AI into IT. So this is how your typical IT environment looks like. Things keep changing fast. I mean, especially after the pandemic, all of a sudden people started moving remote jobs, hybrid jobs, and almost all jobs that are related to digital tech are hybrid today. And there's been a high expectation from all sides, meaning I do not want to transact twice in a website that is very slow to load or a payment gateway that keeps failing. And there's also an increased security awareness. In the last panel discussion, we were seeing how some rogue agent sitting in our phone can start impersonating all of us, right? So our phone knows us more than anybody else in the whole in the whole set of humans, not even your parents, not even your spouses, and so on. So, and IT is making an impact from back office to boardroom. It has become more important and more crucial than ever to deploy in IT. Of course, there is always a 99.99% uptime requirement, and you have to be alive 24/7, and your minimum time taken to resolve should be less than 15 minutes to ensure your customers are satisfied. And looking at the problems here, on one side you have data problems, and one side you have people problems. Data in silos is actually a big problem, especially when you're doing AI. AI likes data to be seen in one shot so that it gets the whole context. Data in silos is, of course, like we all, transferred, the digital transformation was in phases. IT was the first set of tools to transform really fast, and then there are laggards in adapting digital tech as well. And the volume, velocity, and the variety of data incoming, of course, the whole AI hype is built on our data collection capabilities, our data processing capabilities, and of course the third part, which is having data-driven revenue models, right? So we don't pay for our search engines, we don't pay for our social networks. Instead, we give back our personal data, and it's a $1 trillion business model, very successful business model. So, and of course, like when it comes to the whole alert fatigue, if you are in IT, you will know the kind of alerts that are configured across your IT management systems can really cause you a lot of fatigue, right? Finding the needle in the haystack has always been a challenge. Thanks to default thresholds, the whole idea of static thresholds, with AI in the fray, all of it can become very dynamic, right? So having 10 fail logins per minute, an alert for 10 fail logins per minute on a Monday morning might be normal, but the same thing that is when it is happening on a Saturday morning 3 a.m., somebody is trying to brute force into your system, right? So these thresholds have to be made elastic instead of pre-configured out-of-the-box rules that might not fit every organization. For example, so let's say you are doing something with the stock market, then Monday to Friday is your prime hours. You are somebody who's dealing with vacations, then weekends are your prime market. So your seasonality keeps changing across businesses, and even within business units, these things can change, right? And of course, varying compute capabilities. So your app has to work when the user does it on a sub 10,000 rupee Android phone, at the same time a high-end phone with like a really fast Wi-Fi network and all that. And people problems, right? So we have, especially in the last 2 years, talent retention has become a major challenge. And with staff attrition, the whole idea of knowledge transferring across systems. So, we have processes that let us document everything, but how much are these really documented? How much of these are in the employees' heads? And when somebody does a job change, how does the organization retain all of that essence? So what are the possible solutions here? Of course, there is no one, oh yes, take AI, and it's not a magic pill. And so we have to look at people, processes, structure, tools, visibility, and of course, throwing money at the problem is also one option. So one such tool is AI/ML. So I'm going to look at how AI and ML can help you in your IT operations stack. So this is your typical IT stack. So you have security, you have service delivery, your service management, and then you have monitoring from your servers to your endpoints and all that. And finally, analytics that sits in between all of this to show you reports and for capacity planning in the future and all of it. And let's look at an IT security scenario that can possibly embrace AI. So there has been an anomalous behavior that has been detected by rules. I mean, you have static thresholds and rules that were pre-configured, and a ticket gets raised in the service delivery platform. It is assigned to an agent, and the agent processes his tickets in a queue, and he arrives at the solution and closes the ticket. This is your typical scenario. Now, how does AI help in security and monitoring? So this screenshot is from our SIEM security line of product. Now you see that we have detected an unusual host startup, and this is where we have added explainable AI. I mean, I think explainable AI is going to play a huge role in the future of IT, because once we added explanations, we started our AI features usage being increased by around 75%. That kind of added the trust to the whole AI predictions. So your AI engine has identified that there has been an unusual host startup, and it also explains why it has flagged it as unusual, because it's expecting it between 6 and 7 p.m. and it's expecting it between 8 and 9 a.m. and it has happened between 6 and 7 p.m. So this is also benchmarked with your past logs. And so there is also a suspicious privileged account activity. With the whole idea of zero trust coming in, we are moving away from this concept of privileged accounts, but I mean, I'm sure we still have a lot of privileged accounts in our IT setup, in our practical day-to-day IT setup. So all of a sudden, your user behavior analytics indicates that there has been a suspicious behavior. And now this automatically gets raised on the service desk, and it is assigned a category of abnormal activity. And then here you have a set of agents who are online, who have the right amount of load to look at this privileged user abuse immediately, and that gets automatically assigned to them. Now think of it, a lot of times when you raise a ticket in service delivery, the first person who reads and assigns the ticket it's basically a redundant job. This human could be deployed elsewhere in helping the tickets to be solved. Now this person goes on a break, there's a 15-minute lag, and then that gets assigned to the next person, then he might be on leave, then it gets reassigned to somebody. So now with auto assignment and auto topic detection, it becomes very easier for you to solve your tickets, right? And now the agent looks at this in his screen, and you have prompts from frequently asked questions where now all of a sudden this is happening. What have you done in the past, right? Your frequently asked questions and the tickets you have solved in the past are presented as a summary to this person so that he can close the ticket real fast. Right? So this is how your typical IT workflow is being spruced up by AI, and overall it brings you enhanced productivity across both your agents and your employees. Right? So now there is a AI-based detection and response platform here where we have detected a ransomware. I mean, of course, ransomware is one of the biggest headaches. So we have detected some ransomware or malware in your system. Let's say you have with static rules, again, they can be bended very easily. For example, some EXE or some DLL can come into your system and stay as a good guy for 2 months and then start sending information to random domains, right? So a whitelisted guy, or they could latch on to a proper process, let's say word.exe, and have some code injected into it in their DLLs, and that can start sending private information to somebody. And now we have AI-based ransomware and malware agents that can go above and beyond your static rules and flag them. So once a ransomware is detected, immediately it is quarantined, and there is also a periodic backup depending on the criticality of your endpoint that is running. The challenge here is moving these AI models to the endpoint, right? So it has to work across laptops with limited compute power, it has to work across your mobile phones and all of that. So here AI is not just restricted to the cloud. All of these models might be trained on the cloud, but then they have to work with limited inference capabilities at the edge. So now that is done, and you analyze the response. Is it a false positive or is it something else? So these are the various variables that you look at in your system: your headers, your byte stats, the kind of encryption and decryption that is happening with the DLL, and all of the imports that is making. And finally, the system recovers from the damage because it rolls back to the backup where the system has not infested the idea. So of course, on top of this, there is always conversational interface. But again, this is like very, very domain specific, where we look at ITSM, we look at CMDB, and we look at the monitoring solutions, and then we help the end user. And once the system is not capable of answering, it actually hands it over to an agent. So that auto switch again is a part of the intelligence that comes. So this is what we have pretty much done in ManageEngine across our stack. And on top of this, we have blended IT analytics, where you can ask questions in natural language on, okay, how many of my endpoints have I not patched? Oh, okay, so there are 32 endpoints that have not been patched, patch them immediately, right? So everything comes on a voiceover and a conversational interface embedded thing. So I'm skipping this slide in the interest of time. And so what should we do? Again, looking beyond AI, how do I embrace all of these new age technologies into my IT workflow, given it is getting more crucial by the day? So invest a lot in the whole idea of DevOps and DevSecOps. Whatever kind of business you might be in, IT is becoming an integral part. And have occasional all hands meet so that the knowledge is shared across teams, and have blameless postmortems, right? So all of these AI engines that can predict outages, that can identify root causes, it's a good idea to have blameless postmortems documented so that they come in the purview of your AI systems, and next time a similar incident happens, you're able to catch it beforehand. And of course, collaborative and annotative tools. Internal collaboration is more important given the distributed teams and the remote workforce that we have. And every incident is a gold mine. Go deep down on why it happened and how to avoid it in the near future. And the interesting part is blended analytics. Have all of your IT systems cohesively report into an analytics system so that you can do your capacity planning, you can have visibility across departments, and this will help in the back office to boardroom journey. So overall, I see the future of AI in IT is moving from what was descriptive is now predictive. Now predicting meaning I'm going to predict outages, I'm going to predict anomalies, and then there's also a prescriptive part. Okay, I have an anomaly coming soon that I'm expecting. What was the last time, how did you fix it last time? So this is the recommendation, you might want to apply this. And more the confident the model is, it will auto apply so that the human stays in the loop, but it does not wait for the human to take actions. And what if analysis, explainable AI, of course in the last panel we talked about digital twins and whatnot. So explainable AI and what if analysis will enhance AI in IT. And internal and external information combined, of course, this is where things like ChatGPT can help, where you're looking up outside resources. For inside resources, you already have chatbots that can sift through your service delivery platform and get results. And so the conclusion, early days of AI and AIOps, it's naturally become a part of the current tool set right now. And it's a good time to get started if you have not already started. Probably you are using some form of AI in your IT, which might not be really called out as AI. So it's a good time. So we have been working on AI for 10 plus years, and this is across all the use cases that we have done at ManageEngine. All of these we have been working on in terms of AI. So I'm very bullish on how AI is going to help IT. Again, cut out the hype, cut out the AI is coming for the jobs. I'm sure AI is here to optimize processes and maximize your employee and customer experience. So that's it from me. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for being an innovator. Thank you.